Okay, let's jump straight into this explainer because we're going to do something truly fascinating today. We are going to bridge the gap between ancient traditional Chinese medicine and modern quantum biology to figure out how you can maximize your daily energy. I know, it sounds a bit like science fiction, right? But the crazy thing is, modern physics and these ancient medical texts are actually pointing to the exact same mechanisms operating inside your body right now. So, here's our roadmap. We'll hit 1. The quantum nature of qi. 2. Yin yang and biology. 3. 5 elements of metabolism. 4. Tunneling through energy barriers. 5. Natural cycles for recovery. And 6. Designing your energetic lifestyle. Let's get into it. Section 1. The quantum nature of qi. Let's start by looking at energy through two very different lenses, the ancient world and the modern laboratory. Thousands of years ago, ancient Chinese texts defined qi as these infinitesimal energy particles that make things move and permeate literally everywhere in the body. Well, think about what modern biology tells us. Your cellular mitochondria act like tiny powerhouses, right? They break down glucose to pump out a molecule called ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. ATP is, quite literally, the modern biochemical unit of qi. And here is a wild stat for you. An average person only has about 250 grams of ATP in their body at any given moment. But to put that into perspective, your body recycles that tiny amount over 1,000 times a day just to keep up with your energy needs. It's absolutely wild to think about the scale of all this, linking our overarching human biofield directly to the microscopic quantum behaviors inside our cells. We're talking about a scale that stretches all the way from the solar corona and huge geomagnetic fields down to the human body, into the organs, into the cells, and right down to the literal protons and electrons inside your mitochondria. We are totally nested within these fields, and that energy flow, that qi, is a continuous, unbroken thread from the macrocosm of the universe all the way down to the quantum fluctuations inside your DNA. Section 2. Yin, Yang, and Biology. Now, what's really fascinating here is how perfectly ancient philosophy actually maps onto human anatomy. Over 2,000 years ago, the Huangdi's classic laid out the theory of yin and yang. But you have to understand this wasn't just abstract poetry or philosophy. It was a highly detailed system of biological checks and balances. Yin represents the structural, cooling, and restorative aspects of the body. Yang, on the other hand, represents the functional, warming, and active aspects. In this system, form nourishes function, and function maintains form. They are completely, 100% interdependent. And you know what? Modern science completely backs this up. The classical concept of yin and yang directly mirrors your autonomic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is your yang. It accelerates your heartbeat, it preps you for action. Your parasympathetic system is your yin, slowing things down, promoting rest. We even see this happening at the molecular level. Nobel Prize-winning research actually demonstrated the antagonistic yin-yang-like actions of molecules called CGMP and CAMP in regulating cellular function. Life literally requires this constant dynamic antagonism just to maintain basic homeostasis. So I want you to ask yourself right now, how might your daily stress be tipping this delicate balance? Are you constantly stuck in a sympathetic, yang-dominant state? It's amazing to think that thousands of years ago, physicians could actually feel this metabolic drain just by taking your pulse. Using a diagnostic method that reflected your internal metabolic health long before we had modern blood panels or labs. If you're constantly stressed, you are rapidly draining your cellular batteries without ever allowing that yin rest required to recharge your ATP. Section 3. 5 elements of metabolism. All right, let's move on to the 5-element theory and see how this builds a complete map of your internal metabolic machinery. Think of the 5 elements, wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, as an intricate system of biological gears. Ancient medicine mapped these elements directly to the Zhangfu internal organs. So wood connects to the liver, fire to the heart, earth to the spleen, metal to the lungs, and water to the kidneys. And here's the genius part. Each element acts as a mother that generates energy for the next one, or as a suppressor that keeps another element in check so it doesn't overwork. It is just a brilliant, holistic model of metabolic energy homeostasis. So here is how this actually plays out in real life, especially with what's called the suppression cycle. Let's look at stress. In Chinese medicine, the emotion of anxiety is a wood element trait, which is linked to the liver. According to the 5 elements, excessive wood subjugates or suppresses earth, and earth is the spleen, which is responsible for your digestion.
Now translate that into modern biology. When you experience anxiety, it triggers your HPA axis, your hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis. This sympathetic nervous system spike instantly inhibits your digestive system. It's the exact same stress-induced metabolic dysfunction, just explained using two totally different vocabularies. Section 4. Tunneling through energy barriers. To really grasp how we produce energy efficiently, we have to zoom way, way down to the subatomic level. Because inside your mitochondria, energy production isn't just basic chemistry, it actually relies on quantum mechanics, specifically an incredible phenomenon called quantum tunneling. Classical physics says a particle needs a certain amount of kinetic energy to physically climb over a barrier. But quantum tunneling shows us that particles like electrons and protons, because they act as waves, can literally tunnel straight through impenetrable biological mountains. Bypassing those classical limits saves the cell massive amounts of energy during ATP production. And this is exactly where the ancient and the modern worlds collide. Down in the cell, we have electrons and protons utilizing quantum tunneling to flow seamlessly through the mitochondrial electron transport chain, totally relying on precise cellular ion signaling and gradients. Now, zoom back out to the entire body, and we have the ancient concept of qi flowing along the classical meridians. Modern research actually shows that these fascial meridian pathways have lower electrical impedance and higher capacitance than the tissues around them. So whether you call it the delicate balance of cellular ion gradients or the smooth flow of qi through highly conductive fascial planes, it is the exact same life-giving mechanism of unimpeded energy transfer. Section 5. Natural cycles for recovery. But what happens when this quantum flow breaks down? When stress or a bad lifestyle gets in the way? Well, our cellular energy drops. Thankfully, history gives us an incredible roadmap for recovery. For thousands of years, classical texts like Shennong's Materia Medica have documented hundreds of medicinal items, outlining how specific natural compounds can restore our metabolic balance. The ancient physicians knew exactly which herbal categories could cool down an overheated system or invigorate a depleted one. They essentially cataloged the earliest known interventions for long-term metabolic health. Today, modern clinical practice actually relies on these exact same herbal principles to recover mitochondrial health. You see, as your mitochondria produce ATP, they unavoidably generate reactive oxygen species, or ROS. If your body is stressed out, these ROS act like tiny cellular wrecking balls. They damage the mitochondrial structure and cause serious energy leakage. The traditional herbs documented centuries ago just so happen to be densely packed with the exact antioxidants needed to neutralize those reactive oxygen species and repair your damaged cellular power plants. Section 6. Designing your energetic lifestyle. All right, let's translate all this rich quantum biology and ancient wisdom into stuff you can actually do today. Here is a step-by-step tutorial on balancing your energy through natural restorative cycles. Step 1. Align your sleep with natural light cycles to balance your HPA axis. This naturally harmonizes your biofield with the geomagnetic environment. Step 2. Eat mindfully to support your spleen's earth element. This ensures efficient digestion and optimal glucose transport to your cells. Step 3. Practice active rest. You literally have to manually pull yourself out of sympathetic overdrive to restore your yin, your parasympathetic tone. By committing to these 3 daily habits, you are consciously optimizing your healthy qi flow and your ATP production. There's this great quote from the source material that sums this up perfectly. By analogy with farming, if one irrigates growing crops with sufficient water and fertilizers, the result will be healthy growing crops. Just like a farmer tending to a delicate ecosystem, you have to cultivate your internal environment. You provide the right nutrients, the right rest, and the right light to allow your quantum energy to flourish. Ultimately, every single breath you take and every bite of food you eat is a real-time opportunity to rewrite your energetic balance. You have a literal quantum universe operating inside your cells right now, waiting to be optimized. So, are you going to keep depleting it with stress, or will you use the ancient laws of nature to master it? Take these insights, balance your yin and yang, and go maximize your daily energy.